And now, more Utalk. Now.
Hey guys, glad you're here. Our guest, this guy's been, for 10 years or more, he's been blazing a trail across country, Gulf Coast, East Coast, West Coast, internationally, globally, East Africa, Southeast Asia. This guy is a singer. He's a songwriter, entrepreneur, visionary, has shared the stage with numerous people, too many to mention right now, because I want to jump right into the conversation. And there he is.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, man, how are you?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you, brother?
Oh, I'm the same, man. I'm so stoked to have you on, to see you, and thanks for taking time out of your schedule.
Man, I wouldn't have it no other way, brother. I miss you, man. Glad to be back with you, man.
Oh, hey, man, ditto on the feeling. You know, we got to find a way to hang out again, and this is one way, but we got to do some events together. We'll talk about that later. So,
no doubt.
Before we jump into this, I felt like I should do maybe something a little random with you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Kind of a random question, okay? Are you ready for this?
Come on.
What cartoon character is most like your personality?
Oh, my gosh, man. Oh, okay. I would probably have to lean into, I don't know if y'all into anime or anything like that. Dragon Ball Z, Goku.
Okay, why?
Goku, man. Goku. Because he's like funny, nonchalant. He kind of got like he's cracking jokes. He's not like the super serious guy, right? But he kind of knows when to turn it on. And he's always like the underdog, right? So he's like an underdog character, right? So I feel like for him and him being part of my childhood, watching, like I would get out of school and come home and watch like Dragon Ball Z. I get out the bus. It was Batman and like Dragon Ball Z, bro. And so it would be Goku or it would be Bruce Wayne. It'd probably be a blend between those two, dude. Like
it's you. That's you.
Yeah, that's probably me, man. Like Goku would get beat up and then he would come back and win. Like he wasn't super perfect. And Batman was kind of like, yo, this is like a regular human dude, bro. Like he just used what he had to like make what needed to happen.
Yep.
I kind of feel like that's kind of who I am. You know what I mean?
Sure. And that, you know, it's a great description of you. By the way, somebody said Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah.
That must be their favorite. So, or that must be representing their personality.
I got bit by a lot of things as a kid, but not the radioactive spider, man. So I didn't get the superpowers. But yeah, I get it. Well, I had a funny story. I had a pet tarantula when I was like 19 or 20, and you know, don't tell nobody, but it broke out of the cage, like the little cage I had it in, and it was loose in my house. And I was scared as I don't know what, dude, as a man. And I had to man up and go catch the tarantula that escaped the
Did you get
I'm not gonna be able to sleep in my house with a tarantula loose in my house, man. But I got him. I got him, wrangled him in, man. I felt good. But I had a pet tarantula, you know.
I never had one of those, but I had snakes. And one time a snake got out.
Ooh.
It got out of the little glass cage thing, and we could never find it. And my mom especially was like, you got to find this snake.
Yeah, you can't go to sleep at night with a loose snake. No, you got to find it.
You really can't. You know, it's fortunately it wasn't poisonous, but it was just the fact that it was creepy crawly and the scales and all that stuff. So anyway.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. All right. Your sound, I mean, nobody can put you in a box. You know, there's no category. I think it's so cool. Electric, dynamic, performance. I mean, it's just, when did you start singing and writing songs?
Man, kind of an unconventional time, man. I started in my mid-20s, man, like 24, 25.
Okay.
You know, I didn't start young. I wasn't a young phenom, you know. I started late, and I think that was actually a benefit to me because I had a lot of time. I had a lot of time to absorb a lot of different types of music. And so I was always around just diverse people, diverse sounds, different people introduced me to different stuff. And so I was a mixed bag of different things, man. I wasn't a one trick pony. I wasn't totally dialed into one thing. And so it kind of helped me really relate. But I was a late bloomer, man. 24.
Yeah, I mean, that really was. But you know what's so amazing is because of that, you appeal to such a broad audience of people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's you, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I don't like to be, put in a box myself. And as a drummer, of course, I started playing when I was in 6th grade, played professionally starting in 7th grade, but I played a lot of different styles, still do. So I get calls from lots of different, bands and artists and stuff like that. And with you, I love that about you because there's that diversity. And I think that's huge. I think that's a really gift. So did you play an instrument at all when you were younger, or it was mid-20s and there you are?
No, man. No, I was a small town kid, Pittsburgh, Texas. Population was like, 2,000-3,000 people in the town. Sure. So I didn't grow up pursuing music or having a dream of being a musical, person or artist or anything like that. It just kind of, wham, hit me, man, at 24. Like, bro, this is who you are. And like the environment you've been around, the people you've been around, and your affinity towards hearing good music and just vibing, it's ingrained in you. And now, based on the purpose that I feel like is in my heart and what prompted me to go into that, I kind of had the foundations in me. I just had to kind of walk it out, and it began to pour out of me as I began to take that journey. And it's been great so far.
That is so interesting. I think this is something good for people to listen to. It doesn't matter when you start the journey.
Facts.
You got to start the journey. It's 100% start the journey. Don't be afraid to start the journey. And it doesn't matter what age you are, but you start pulling all this stuff together, that has brought you to where you are. And that's such a dynamic force in the experience. And now I got to digress for just a moment. Did you learn how to play the guitar in your mid-20s then?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I did. Yeah, I picked it up. No experience, no nothing. I just felt prompted to. I had a desire to play a certain type of songs and music. And, I really just asked, with my faith on the line there, just asked him, man, God, man, I really want to do this thing. And he said, well, go do it. Like, don't depend on anybody else to do it. You do it. And I took a step of faith, and my wife, we didn't have any money at the time, but she went out on a limb and used some credit and got me a guitar. And the person that she worked with at the job she worked at, he was actually in a band. And he drew on a piece of paper. He drew a guitar. And he put the note to the guitar on there, so he labeled the strings. Yeah. And then he penciled in I think it was an E minor chord, and that's all I had to start with. And I just started with that, bro, and just started strumming and doing that, and within 3 months, I had ended up writing a song, and I was able to play it, and it probably sounded like crap, but.
But it was a song. Come on, it was a song.
It was a song, man, and it came from a deep part of my soul. I went through a traumatic experience, and I went to an open mic here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I sat on a stool and I strummed that song and sung it within 3 months of me picking that guitar up, and the place was like just blown away and like just in awe, and it was a magical moment. But it definitely established in me that like whatever you feel in your heart that God asks you to do, even if it's beyond what you feel like you can do, he'll do it through you, and he'll lead the way, man, and he'll empower you. And I felt very, very empowered through that. It was a great moment.
That's such a powerful thing to be able to share from experience, you know, because this is coming out of your heart. This is coming out of your soul. This isn't some hype up, blow sunshine up somebody's nose, any of that baloney. It's like, this is you. This happened to you, and it could happen to somebody else.
Yes.
You're not the only one, and taking a step of faith is risky, but I think it's more risky not to take it. And always wonder. I mean, I think the worst thing is for somebody to get towards the end of their life and go, I wish I would have. Maybe if I had, I could have. No, do it now. Do it now.
Yeah.
And that is so amazing. And see that I was wondering that because you and I didn't have a chance to talk about that. What got you started? And you know what else strikes me is having someone who believes in you. Your wife. I mean, what a gift.
Oh my gosh, bro.
You know, I mean, and here she is. She, you know, makes it possible to get your guitar. I mean, we all need somebody that will believe in us.
Yeah, man.
You know,
definitely. Well, that's why we need people, bro. Like a lot of people feel like, oh, you know, I don't need nobody. You come from a background where maybe your family let you down, or maybe you had some bad experiences and you feel like, yeah, I make my own way, this and that. Like, man, we need some people in our corner that say, man, I agree with what you could be. And like, I'm going to encourage you to like go that way. You know what I mean? Like, you may not believe it, but I believe, you know what I mean? And like, I'm not going to let you settle for less than what you could be. And, you know, I had that in my wife, which is a tremendous blessing, but like, we all need that. We need somebody there to be like, you know.
No, we definitely do, because the culture we live in, it's dragging you down. It's a weight, and people are so critical. And, you know, there's some great stuff that can happen on social media with stuff like this, but then people just get beat up, you know, and it breaks my heart when I hear somebody who's taken their own life because they were beat up and bullied on social media, you know. And if I always wonder, now I don't know how true this is, but I always wonder with them, the you know, young adults who do this, would it have been different had they had somebody in their corner who believed in them and said, you know, it's okay not to be okay, and I'm here for you. I believe in here. You can do this. I think back I've had throughout my life several individuals. They've all moved to heaven now, well, except for a couple. And what I love about it is I think back about how they invested in me and how they believed in me. And one of them, the last time I actually talked to him, and he stopped me and he said, Steve, and I said, what? What do you need, Dr. Ted? And he said, it's always too soon to quit.
Oh.
And bro, I've never forgotten that. You know, it's, and I like to share that with others because you feel that you get discouraged, you get pulled down, you know, something happens and you don't realize that that's not the end. That's an event that happened, and you can get past that and you can get through that. But you know, I've been thinking more and more the last few weeks. People say, oh, what does your organization need? Or, you know, well, we can always use more money because then we can expand, you know, that kind of thing. But you know, we really need people. People, bro. We all need people, you know. We need people, and you know, people can help us do lots of things. People can help, you know, lift our arms up. They can pick us up when we fall. You know, they can encourage us. You know, we've got an audio producer that this guy is just. You'll have to meet him sometime, John. He's just amazing, and I love the guy like a brother. I mean, he'll come to me sometimes and say, Steve, it's like, how many times do you get knocked down off your feet? And he said, you're like Rocky, the Italian stallion. You just keep getting up, you know? I said, John, I think it's probably because I'm too dumb to stay down, you know? But just those words from him. So that, you know, that really, really encourages me to hear that about your wife. I mean, that's awesome. And I know we would concur together, people that are watching and listening, find at least one person in your life that believes in you. You know, it says you can keep going. You can keep doing this. You can, you know, I mean, that's so huge. It's
you need it. You need it. Yeah. The loner culture is a lie. You know what I mean? I try to tell and empower young adults and people that, like, man, you know, don't ever try to be a loner, man, because it's a lonely road. And when you run out of gas, who's going to be there to pick you up, man? Who's going to be there to lift you up? You know what I mean? Like, you need people. And so don't ever isolate. You know, don't believe the lie that you're better off by yourself. You know, there's some people that are supposed to be in your corner, man. Find your tribe and find a healthy tribe. Don't find a toxic tribe. Find a healthy tribe.
That's the last thing you need, man. And it will make a difference. It will definitely make a difference. You know, you find that healthy tribe. You find that the people that are in your corner. Now, let's jump to something you and I this fall when we met, and I mean, it was like instant boom, you know. It was so cool. And we had we filmed a conversation that's going to be part of a project that we're developing. But you shared with me about something that happened in your life that changed your life. It's something I never experienced it. I hope I never do, but I am amazed at how you went through that and where you are now. Share that with us, if you don't mind.
You know, we all have a phase where we're trying to figure out life, and we may be figuring it out wrong in the wrong way. You know, we may be making bad decisions, things of that nature. So I had made some bad decisions that, you know, landed me in jail. I was following trends. I was following culture. I was following peer pressure. And I began to, you know, just live a life and an identity that wasn't me. It involved me having an altercation that led to me getting a assault with bodily injury, misdemeanor, and a jail time. That sentence that I was facing. And, you know, I had to make some difficult phone calls to family members and let them know what was going on. And in that time, I had just kind of a light bulb moment. And I had multiple light bulb moments through my life, but that was one of the first big ones. It was kind of like, wait, man, this is not who you are. Like, what are you doing here? Yeah. This is not who you're supposed to be, right? Like, you're sitting here in jail, like, you could face some jail time or whatever. Like, what are you doing with your life? And the light bulb went off of, like, this is not who I was created to be. And it began to make me ask questions about why am I doing the things I'm doing? Why am I involved in the things I am? And it led me on a track of self-discovery. And I'm thankful for that, because those hard phone calls and being in that, you know, that jail cell and you know, having to call my mom and tell her what was going on. And she's in a different city, and I'm in a whole other place. I'm 5-6 hours away from her. Hey. What are you doing? You know, what are you doing out there like that? You know, all those types of things, like, oh, I'm tripping. But it kind of set me on a path of recognizing that the life I was building for myself in my early 20s, you know, being 19, 20 years old, was not the way I should be trending. And it helped me recognize that, like, I need to make some changes. And that really, like, set me on a path of figuring out where I need to land my ship. And luckily, through the grace of God and through learning in the pitfalls and the bumps and, like, you know, making mistakes, I learned that that's not who I was, and identity is so important. That if you don't really know who you are and you don't have a great foundation of, like, who you're supposed to be and, like, morals and standards for yourself, you end up following everything. You'll end up following the wind, and you'll be all over the place.
I was going to say the wind. Yeah,
you'll be blown with the wind, bro. And I was glad to have that experience and to recognize those things. I was sad that it took some of those things, like, to make some of those decisions and to, like, hit that rock bottom place. And I had a couple other rock bottom experiences too, but to have to hit that, to then pick yourself up and be like, no, I was glad it happened, but I was like, I sure don't want nobody else to have to go through those types of things, you know?
And that's so critical. I mean, you got a choice. When you hit bottom like that, you hit rock bottom, you know, either you're going to look up and you're going to get up, or you're going to keep getting blown away and blown around and bounced around. It sounds to me like part of that reason was you had something to draw on. You hit rock bottom. But there's something inside of you. There's that your soul and your values and your character, and it's I love that phrase, light bulb moment, and we've got to pay attention to them. Guys,
we do.
If you're watching and listening, if you've had a light bulb moment or you have one, pay attention to it.
Definitely.
I mean,
and call it what it is too. You know, we try to get mystical with these types of things and be, like, superficial. I'm very unashamed of my faith and what I believe in. My light bulb moment was really God tugging on my heart. I'm from Texas, you know, Bible Belt. You know, a lot of people call it Bible Belt. I don't want to call myself a church kid per se, but I definitely came from a family where my mom really gave me a foundation of like, you know, Brock, your mom, you know, your parents not going to always be there for you, but at some point you're going to have to rely on God. Like, we're not going to always be there to do this and that. Like, at some point you're going to have to call out to God and ask him to come in and like lead the way. Right.
Yeah.
And so my light bulb moment was really God knocking on the door of my heart and saying, hey, Brock, man, what are you doing? This is not who I want you to be. This is not what I have for you, man. You're kind of doing your own thing. Like, kind of, you know, wake up, brother. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Right?
Yeah.
And I was grateful to have those thoughts in my soul from what my mom planted in me of saying, bro, like, God's with you even if I'm not.
Yeah.
It's huge. You know, and so when I'm sitting in there, I'm like, I know this is a God tugging on my heart saying, bro, what are you doing? And that led, you know, it just kind of led me there. And I'm grateful for that. You know, a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't know what that light bulb moment is, you know, and I'm glad I was able to see that, recognize it. And, you know, here I am standing today, like in a different place.
See, I'm so grateful for people like you and a friend in my life like you, because thinking about those that are watching and listening, they may not have somebody like you did in your mom. But they can have you in their life. They can have you as an example. They can have you as somebody that they can look to and look at and say, if Brock can do that, I can do that. And I need to look up. And I mean, there are so many, you know, like that today. And I know you do some motivational speaking, going to schools and stuff, which we'll have to do some schools together sometime. I think that'd be, that'd be amazing. You know, that'd be just, well, now, okay, hip-hop, rock, spoken word, neo-soul anthems, acoustic. Those are just a few of the terms that define your versatility in your music. Any chance we can get you to do a song?
Yeah, I can do a piece of it. I don't know. Let me see.
We'll take a piece, bro. We'll take a piece.
It's called Trouble. Maybe I'll just do a piece of it. Trouble don't last always. Dark memories will fade away. Storms and light blow many miles. Hard times hit and sometimes we fall down. See, we've been made to do it nights. Joy comes in, morning light. Hold on, yeah. I said we've been made endure for night. Joy comes in the morning. Say trouble don't last always. It don't last always. Disappointment and heartbreak seems to keep coming your way. But hold on a little while longer, 'cause everything could change today. We've made do it nights. Joy comes in the morning light. Hold on, yeah. I said we've made endure for night. Joy comes in the morning. Say trouble don't last always. Don't last always.
Ooh, I got to get me some more of that.
Yeah, some unreleased music. I'm working on that. Yeah, I'm working on putting some of that out. I'm more known for my hip hop and hip hop rock stuff. I had a nice little stretch of doing that for years, but I've been more focused on putting some acoustic singer-songwriter stuff out this year. So that's my plan for 2023 is to lean more into playing and singing this thing, man, and putting out some songs I've been sitting on for a while. So hopefully my fans are ready for a little curveball.
Oh,
Man,
I think they are. This one here is, so if people want to get some of your music, they want to know more about you, see what you're doing, website, how do we go about doing this?
yeah. So website is asaintmusic.com. So www.asaintmusic.com. You can go there. You have links, videos. You'll see where I'm booked at. You'll see my schedule, all the things that I'm doing there.
Nice.
Recently, I changed my social media on Instagram just to go by my actual name. So it was ASAINT Music. Now it's Brockne Jones. That's my real name, Brockne Jones. So Brockne Jones. So on Instagram, if you want to follow me on there, and you'll see everything there. But my website and then Instagram, man, just follow me there. iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff. Just search ASAINT. ASAINT, and you'll get a catalog of some great hip hop music, man. It'll be you'll enjoy. You won't be disappointed for sure.
I love the versatility, man. I just love it. It's so cool. Now, AKA ASAINT.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Oh man. How
did that happen?
Well, I know it was definitely inspired. I won't say I manufactured it. It came from a place where I was I was kind of new in my faith. I was a couple years in my faith. I didn't know I was supposed to be doing music. I hit a place where I was really, down and trying to figure out who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing. I know my life was more than my cubicle and working at the job, all that. And so I was asking God the hard questions, and he was like, music is a part of who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. It's going to be fulfilling for you. And, all the things that God was blowing my mind. Like, okay, cool. And so he's like, go do it. I'm like, all right. So I started writing music and doing it and this and that. And he was showing me a lot of things. And then he showed me this, and this is where ASAINT came from. He said, a lot of people think that they have to perform and be perfect to be received as good enough for God. Right? Yeah. And he said, it's quite the opposite. A lot of religions say, oh, St. Paul, St. Peter, St. Mary, these perfect individuals that I can never be like that. Right? I never could be like that.
Sure.
And the reality of it is that a saint, biblically true, a saint is just somebody that says, I believe in who Jesus was and what he did for me. And I'm a saint. I'm forgiven. I'm loved. I'm viewed as good. I'm viewed as righteous. I'm viewed as something that's valuable, not because of what I did or how good I was, but because of what Jesus did for me on the cross. And he said, Brock, you're a saint. You're somebody that has accepted. Nice. It's an acronym. It says you're somebody that has accepted salvation. And now I testify. Accepted salvation. It's an acronym. Yeah. I accepted what Jesus did for me. And now I testify by living my life the way I live it. And everybody that is accepting of what Jesus does is a saint. You are somebody that is viewed as good, righteous, not because of what you did, but because of what God did for you. And that was where that name came from. It's like, I'm a saint, bro. Like that's who I am. And so are you.
Absolutely. 100%.
So are you. Yeah.
I did not know that there was an acronym there. So
yeah.
I was kind of asking for, that's powerful. I mean, it's truth, even though our culture doesn't want to accept truth. Mm-hmm. It's the truth about us, and each person needs to understand that about themselves, and they have that opportunity. Now you're committed to, you've got tremendous influence as an artist, as a speaker, and you're committed, if I understand this correctly, to like a powerful conscious art to a world that is yearning for change. I mean, this world is busted big time. It's chaotic. And yet you're saying, hey, I'm going to have this powerful conscious art to bring change. Now I know collectively we can get together and bring change about. And in fact, I was just sitting there thinking about an event that we're hoping to do later in the year, and you'd be awesome to have there. It would be just amazing. We'll talk about that another time. But can you think of something that each one of us could do in our daily life to be the change? Because our world needs change.
Right.
I don't care. If somebody says we don't need a change, there's something wrong with that, man.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I could sit here and fire off some cliche, answers to that, right? We need more love. We need, like a lot of things that you can just fire off, right? The first thing that comes when you say that, what came to my mind was like, understand that our mental and emotional health is important, right? If we're not taking care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, and like really self-evaluating our lives as individuals, then we're going to, one, not be healthy ourselves, but then that's going to spew out and affect everybody else.
Yep.
Most of the times, all the chaos and the traumatic things that happen in our world, things that we see, active shooter and shoots up a school, or, such and such does this or does that or whatever. Yeah. It's because somebody is mentally, emotionally, and spiritually like neglected themselves or been like hurt or harmed or traumatic, like some kind of traumatic experience, and they're not well. If we begin to self-care, right, and then recognize that if we're not healthy, then we're going to be toxic to everything around us.
Oh, yes.
And we just keep living this life. Oh, I'm going to ignore this. I'm going to ignore that. I'm not going to focus. I'm not going to get well. I'm not going to keep these toxic patterns going. I'm going to keep. Then we're going to negatively affect our environment, affect our families, affect our children, affect our schools, and it's going to just be a cycle of hurt, harm, and death. And, it starts with us. If we want change, we got to be the change we want to see. We can't talk about, the world's going bad, it's getting this and that. Well, what are we doing to get healthy and heal other people? What are we doing to be the change we want to see by starting to evaluate our lives and say, what's out of order, what's not healthy, what's wrong, what's toxic in me? Let me work on me, and then let me spread that healing to other people, and so that we can be better people, man. It starts there. And the nucleus of that is love, man. Love yourself, man, and know that God loves you, and know that God wants better for everybody, right?
Yep.
And that truth is truth, and we gotta get in line with that. And so that will be my answer to that. It's like, be the change you want to see, and let's all get healthy, man. Let's all get healed.
Now there's that phrase, be the change you want to see.
Yes.
Let's stop pointing the finger at people. Let's stop criticizing this one and that one and this thing and set it aside. You want to see change, so then you be the change you want to see. Exactly. You can't help anybody until you help yourself, man. You got to help yourself and then go help another one. Yeah, and mental health is such a huge issue today, and we need to deal with it. We need to be physically healthy, mentally healthy, and spiritually healthy, like you said. That whole balance thing there, a transformed person, and then we can transform the culture, and we can, instead of being toxic, we can be contagious.
Exactly. And then a key component to that too is once you arrive to that point, you'll start seeing all the things that are coming in and contaminating us. And then you'll be able to put a wall to it, because there's tons of things that we could, we'll have a whole nother podcast. We can have a whole nother podcast.
Oh, yeah.
There's tons of things that are just coming in and bombarding us with just toxicness, and it's feeding the cycle. And we have to begin to start guarding ourselves, protecting ourselves, getting healthy, and saying, hey, no, I'm not receiving that anymore because I want to be healthy. And then that in turn helps change things, right? It just does.
No question. And that whole thing, we don't have to receive everything, and we don't have to be afraid to put a wall up.
Exactly.
And, we don't have to be putting somebody else down or anything else. We just say, you know what, I ain't receiving that. I'm sorry. That ain't coming in,
Yeah, exactly.
And nothing like that's going out either.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking that stand,
Exactly.
Man, there is... Remind us again, website and social.
Yeah, website is ASAINT Music, ASAINT music.com. You can get everything musically there, even speaking, things of that nature. We'll have links there. For music, if you're on any streaming sites, Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, just search ASAINT, ASAINT. and you'll get all my music there. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you'll see my name up there, Brockne Jones. Just hit the follow button there, man. Follow me, I follow you back, man. Let's build, let's grow.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Hey, we got to do this again. I mean, there's so much to talk about.
Bro, we're connected, man. Let's not let this digital thing be the only thing we do. Let's get in person and do some things together, bro.
I'm totally down for that. No, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. So thanks. Appreciate you much, man. It's just so good to see you and so good to have you here, man. Love you and look forward to doing this again.
Yeah, likewise, Steve, man. Much love to you and everybody, man. Tell your fam I say hello, and let's connect and build more, brother. Love you.
Love you too, man. We will.
This is Utalk Radio.